All right, so first question we've got is about the origin of the band. Tell us how things got started.
Tim?
I guess, yeah, I'll take this one. So, but way back in 2006, I actually had another band called Inquest that I played guitar in, and we were sort of falling apart just because all the members were in different places, and it was hard to jam together, and also nobody really listened to us. We had a really hard time playing music in Santa Barbara, and I've been friends with Nikki for like 10 years since high school, and I had all these riffs that didn't really fit Inquest, and so I was talking to him on AIM one time, and I was like, hey, I kind of want to make an album just called Goblin Island, just because I think it'd be really funny. And he was like, oh, that's hilarious. And we just started brainstorming ideas. And, I, like, both of us wanted, like, to collaborate, had wanted to collaborate for a while. But this was the first time we really had the chance. So I put together basically two songs. It was what ended up being Goblin Island and Army of Goblins. And then Nikki and I both wrote lyrics, and he played keys, and then everything just went from there.
Awesome, man. That I never knew that that Goblin Island was essentially a side project at first. That's pretty cool.
It was, yeah. It was weird because the reason it became like a more full thing is kind of because it just blew up right away. Like people just responded to it very quickly. It was the first thing either of us really had done that was like just seemed like it was well put together, and the production somehow worked. And I don't know, like it's weird to me to listen to that album because it was done in 2006 and it still sounds pretty good. Like I listen to it and I don't go, oh man, that's shitty, like there's other stuff I've done that is like that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is
yeah,
rough around the
fun.
edges, but that kind of adds to its fun.
All right, so can you tell us what the writing and recording process was for Goblin Island? Was it fun? Was it difficult? Was it annoying?
For Goblin Island, it was really fun. It was basically Nikki and I would meet in my parents' garage in Sunnyvale because I would come up from Santa Barbara to the Bay Area in California to hang out with my parents for a few weeks during the summer. And this was a summer that we just did. We spent 2 months, 2 or 3 months, and all we did, I would work, and then in the evenings I would grab Nicky from his house, and we just drink a bunch of beers and write songs. And somehow it was just like it just flowed pretty well. We had our disagreements, but it went pretty smoothly. It was neither of us had ever done like a recording process like this before. I hadn't really I'd written and recorded my own songs, but it was weird to like work with first of all just one other person and work on this project that we didn't really know what it was. We were just kind of making it up. Inquest was like a death metal band, pretty straightforward death metal band. And so that was like kind of like, oh, this is a riff, that's cool. But Nekrogoblikon was more like conceptual or themed or something. So we were just like, is this goblin? Like, what does this mean? Like, what are we doing? Like, they're from space? That's weird. Okay.
Well, it's certainly fun. I'll admit right now, I spend a lot of time just driving in my car screaming Goblikon lyrics at people from the window.
Awesome.
I just roll around my college campus and just blast Stench with the windows down.
Dude, that's amazing.
Prince of the Land of
Tim does
Stench
that.
especially.
I prefer Blasting Bears.
Bears that's a great song. Bears and Prince of the Land of Stench are probably my two favorite Nekrogoblikon songs.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of great ones. Goblins Ahoy is one that's probably the first Nekrogoblikon song I had ever heard, and that's what got me started on you guys about a year ago, maybe?
About a year ago, I think it was.
Yeah, I found you guys on Last FM by chance, and it's just going nuts with it.
Cool. Yeah. We're always interested to see how people have heard of us, and it's pretty random.
Well, just to fill you in, just out of curiosity for you to fill that, I was just starting to get into folk metal, and I went on the Fintroll page on Last FM and just clicked everything that was linked to similar, and you were one of the only two that I ended up getting really into.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, we have a funny relationship with Fintroll because those guys are aware of us, and like we went early on anyway. We were pretty heavily influenced by them, but we decided to have this kind of like a little bit of a competitive thing. You know, we wrote Goblins Are Better Than Trolls, and that was like one of the original ideas we had before even it was a band or before we even had anything beyond Goblin Island just figured out. We were like, oh, let's have a song called Goblins Are Better Than Trolls and have it sound like a Fintroll song. So that's where that came from.
Well, you know, I love that song too, and it's hilarious. And I've always thought goblins were cooler than trolls. Come on, they're these little things in groups. They just tear everything apart.
Well, that song was written and recorded in about 3.5 hours. So
wow, that's impressive.
That's nice.
So anyway, so moving forward, you guys have had a lot of lineup changes, which is normal for a young band. A lot of revolving door stuff early on. Can you tell us how the dynamic of the band has changed? How are things now as opposed to then?
Well, sure. I'll do the first part, and I'll let the other guys sort of fill in. First of all, I don't think we've actually had that many lineup changes. The core lineup, which is at this point it's Alex, it's Nikki and I who started the band, and then Alex and Eddie. That has been the core lineup since early 2007 or like 2007. So that's like 4 years?
5 years. I've been in the band for 5 years now.
5 years.
5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2007. That's when I graduated high school. So 5 years.
And so we've mainly had keyboard issues and bass issues, I guess, because the band didn't start out with a bassist. But then actually Austin was the bassist for like three or 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Brandon's a recent thing, but that's it really. We had very early on we had some lineup changes, but that happened so fast it's not even really it's not really important.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just didn't know the timeline for all lineup changes because you see the pictures online, fourth lineup, third lineup, but I didn't know who was in when.
Yeah, it's like fourth line. It was like one.
We seem to have some lag going on.
Most line changes happened in the first year. Right?
Who's lagging?
Wait, say that again, Alex.
Oh, sorry. I mean, it was basically recapping what you said. I mean, there's a lot of like photo albums that say kind of like first lineup, second lineup, third lineup, fourth lineup, but the majority of the actual lineup changes happened between the first and second lineups, and since then it's been like, one person was added or removed, but nothing drastic has changed about the band in the last 5 years.
All right,
that works.
Cool. I mean, it's definitely things definitely seem solid now, and as you guys are saying, you guys have been solid for a while. So how's the dynamic changed from then to now?
You guys want to take that?
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, obviously in the beginning it was just on Goblin Island, it was just Tim and Nikki. And I joined the band while Sench was being written. And then Eddie joined about, I think, 6 months after I did. And so, actually, Eddie and I were in a band together before we joined Nekrogoblikon. But anyways, so we kind of jumped in the middle of it. So in terms of actual writing, the writing process for Sench, that was mainly Tim doing a lot of the writing. Nikki was living in a different city at the time. So a lot of it just ended up getting written by Tim, and and a lot of it was Nikki too. Nikki wrote "Return of the Sky" and "Prince of the Land of Stench," and I kind of threw in parts every here and there. Eddie wrote most of his own drum parts and stuff, but for stuff we're writing now, it's a lot more of a collaborative effort with all of us writing full songs rather than Tim writing the bulk of it and us kind of peppering on stuff on top of it.
I would actually say that it was more like I would end up writing the skeletons of songs and throwing it out to the rest of the guys, and then the songs really changed a lot because of people's contributions from everyone. I think it's just the difference between that and what's happening now is that it's not just like I'm throwing out a skeleton of a song going, let's do this, and then everyone changes it. It's more like now Eddie's throwing out a song and we start changing it, or Alex is throwing out a song and we start changing it, whoever. So it's more the original ideas come from everyone, but it's kind of the same process, and I think it's going to end up sounding, no less goblin, as it were.
Right. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Definitely sounds a lot more collaborative now. Not that it wasn't earlier.
Yeah, nice. So, some time ago, you guys were talking about, making a music video for Nekrogoblikon. Has it been worked on that yet, possibly in the future?